Good evening, everyone. Time is 7:02 p.m. Announced that we have a quorum. Call to order this City Council regular meeting. Everyone, please stand for the invocation and pledge allegiance. Invocation will be done by Pastor Anderson.
Thank you. Shall we bow our heads? Heavenly Father, today we've come together to seek your direction as a team. We thank you for how faithfully you have carried us in the past, through both the ups that included victories and growth, and through the downs that included challenges and mistakes. Through all of it, you remained unchanged, and so we are thankful that we get to pray to you on today. Though our vision only stretches so far, you see beyond what we can see, and your understanding goes further than what our minds can comprehend. This is why we come to you in prayer, asking you to go before us. Please grant us the direction as we face different decisions that need to be made. If we settle on a decision, I ask that you grant us peace, if that is what your will is for us. We seek your counsel and wisdom and ask that you would show us the way. These and all things I ask in your precious name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, you may be seated. All right, we're going to kick things off with a presentation. Mr. White, you want to come on up? Council, we have for us the 2024, a presentation about the 2024, or actually it's about 2023, and discussions about the 2024 Maine Community 5K. It's Mr. Derek White. He put on the 5K event last year in June at Timmerman Park, and so he wants to talk to us about this year and future years. So I've asked him to come and just kind of recap last year and go from there. So,
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. I'm going to show a short video from last year. All right, go ahead and stop. So my apologies. I guess I'm not as good at uploading to YouTube as I thought. So I've missed a lot of the audio. So I just want to give you guys a quick look at last year's Maynard Community 5K, and then leave from here today in hopes that we can form a partnership for our future events. Just kind of give you guys a rundown of everything. So I am Derek White, the Executive Director of Evolution of Health. And my organization, we were established for the purpose of bringing something actionable to the community and really creating a wellness infrastructure within low-income households. Overall, the idea is to use the community to empower the individual to take ownership of their health. Just based on statistics, we found that most of the people who have the majority of the preventative conditions make less than $25,000 a year, and this has been consistent over the past 20 or so years. And so the problem hasn't been a solution. So my organization was established to at least go to the communities and bring something to those families who need it. So wellness infrastructure defined. If you think about places like Westlake, Bee Cave, Allendale, those areas, it's not very uncommon for you to ride around there and see people jogging with their dogs, just going for a jog just randomly. You're not going to find those type of activities happening leisurely in low income areas. It's just not something that happens. So part of that is we really have to get into the mindset of people, make them understand that their health is important, and they're literally just by the way that they're eating, they're behaving, their kids are watching how they eat, their physical activity, and they're teaching their kids just by default how to live their lives. Which my assumption is that's the reason why the statistics have not changed. It's because we're literally teaching generations how to eat and how to be inactive. So the 2023 Manor Community 5K, there are a few things that went on with that, and this goes back into the wellness infrastructure. So the purpose of my organization is part of it is to create events, 5Ks, and we take this to areas where we invite low-income families out to participate in the same events that are held, like the CAP 5K, the events in Bee Cave, Lakeway, etc., where they come out, they participate, they get their finisher medals, their shirts, they get the full experience. Their kids on the sideline watching them run, and after a couple of years, their kids are participating in that too. This is part of the wellness infrastructure that we're trying to create. The biggest thing is to make sure that experience is something that they walk away with. So I do want to thank all of y'all for approving of the 2023 Manor Community 5K because it was a success. And part of the experience is to make sure that everyone received a finisher medal as well as a shirt, regardless of them being low income or not. So something I really want them to experience. The turnout last year, 150 total registrations. Keep in mind, I did not expect any more than 50. Total 150, approximately 15 kids, 10 free low-income registrations, 5 MAP registrations, and 16 vendors. The MAP registrations, that was part of the plan, is to get those people who are low income, who may not have access to healthcare, to get them signed up for MAP, the Medical Access Program provided by Travis County. So 5 people registered for the MAP program as a result of the event. We had 16 vendors. We had several sponsors and volunteers, or a few sponsors and volunteers. The City of Manor, of course. Thomas H. Keithley, Masonic Lodge number 45. Prince Hall out of Round Rock. The 100 Black Men of Austin. And the Black Men's Health Clinic. These organizations either sponsored or provided volunteers to this event to help make it a success. The vendors, 16 vendors, and these are great organizations: Black Men's Health Clinic, of course, St. David's Foundation, the Amen Program for the University of Texas, KIPP Schools, Dick's Sporting Goods, Austin Fit, FarmShare, Austin Community Law, Goodwill, Equity Kids, United Way, Central Health, Lone Star Circle of Care, Zion Art, Sickle Cell Association, and Chesmore Homes. Lone Star Circle of Health, they came out to get women, low-income women, signed up for mammograms, free mammograms. Central Health was a huge supporter in all of this to make sure that we had got the word out, and several of their people signed up as well, and they were also one of the ways that we're able to get folks signed up for the MAP program. So just a few other pictures from the event. It was very well attended. We had the inflatables for the kids, face painting, and of course we had the fire department out there. They sprayed the water on everyone coming in. Everyone enjoyed that. It was a hot day, so that was a welcome when you come in. Really hate that you didn't get to see the video. The mayor was out there running. I got a chance to run with him for about half the way. It was a good time, but it was overall it was a great experience. So these were the expenses from last year. The shirts, $9.85, and I rounded all of these up to the nearest dollar. Or the inflatables, $863. The medals are $760. Marketing for this event was $1,211. The city expenses came out to $1,215. So for a grand total of $5,034. So that's also keep in mind that out of the people who signed up, I didn't raise the prices. I kept the price at $20 or $25 per person, which is absolutely unheard of for any 5K anywhere. So there was definitely a net loss for this event. So these are some of the changes that I'm planning to make for 2024. The family community, make it into a family community fun day and 5K, include a kids route, and I would love to include seniors. So just give you a snapshot of each one of these. The family community fun day, I want people to want to come there. I don't want it to just be for the 5K runners. I want it to be for everyone. I want, if they're not participating in the run, I want them to go to the booths, find out how to sign up for free healthcare, find out how to schedule a mammogram, etc., or the screening process for sickle cell. So those are things I really would like to do, is really get that out there and make it into more of a community fun day, as well as a 5K. A kids route, I applaud the little warriors who came out and ran the entire 5K, but we also want to give them an option to run a shorter route while also still receiving their finisher medals, because we want to encourage the next generation to live healthier and live a lot longer than we did. And lastly, including seniors. We also have to factor in that seniors are included in low income groups. They're on fixed income and they need access to a lot of these health and wellness resources as well. So my goals are to maintain affordable registration fees. I would prefer not to increase the fees to anything more than $25. I will, of course, love to boost the attendance, engage additional small businesses. I'd like to have a lot of the local small business set up as vendors, increase support from local organizations, and collaborate with the school district. This kind of ties into my ask. With the school district, along with the other local organizations, you guys have the ability to go from a one-to-all approach, whereas I don't have that luxury. And I would love to engage the school districts. Obviously going to be families, students who are low income in those schools. That's a protected group. I will not have access to those folks, but I need to get them out there and get them involved. So these are my requests in order of importance to me. Assistance with marketing. The Maynard Palooza gets a lot of people, and that's something that the city pushes out there. As you saw on the slide before, $1,100 or so, if I remember correctly, was from advertising, strictly running Facebook ads. So assistance with marketing, that can help out tremendously. Y'all have the capability of reaching people I may not be able to just due to Facebook targeting. Second is resources. Y'all gave me a ton of resources last year. Chief was extremely helpful with make sure we got everything squared away out there with the PD, and anything else as far as access to the seniors. I know that Councilwoman Weir and I spoke about that, and there may be a touch point with including senior access to reduce liability on my end and expand the possibility of getting those folks out there to the event. So things along those lines. And lastly, funding. Of course, some of these things can reduce the amount of money that's spent to make this a successful event. Over 150 people came out last year, 16 vendors, well attended, and that was on a shoestring. So anything can help go a long way. So those are my asks, and that concludes my brief presentation, and I hope that you guys will consider being my partner for the upcoming Maynard Community Family Day and 5K, and I'll answer any questions you guys have.
All right, so council, we won't make decisions on this, but if you have some specific questions about the event, you can ask now, and then should you choose to want to get involved in this, then we can invite back for consideration, discussion, and action item opportunity as well. So and thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And for what you're doing here in the Maynard community. We definitely appreciate you. I know all the folks that were there appreciate it and had a good time. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Questions, council?
When you're talking about the expanding it to be more with families, could you elaborate a little bit on what kind of activities you want to have?
Absolutely. And I must preface this answer to that question by letting you guys know that I am creatively challenged. So when it comes to coming up with ideas of what I would like to see, I will have to lean on people from the community to get some ideas of what they would like. In my head, I think about potato sack races, things of that nature. Maybe having a basketball goal out there for kids to go out there and just shoot around. Something that brings people out. Things that are fun. So that's what I'm thinking. Last year we had face painting. It was a lady from Manor who did the face painting, and I really didn't want her to charge anyone anything, so that was another expense to pay her to make sure that she was whole and she was able to do her craft while she was there. If I could have a number of people out there painting faces, that'd be great. But I would definitely have to lean on someone to help consult me on some of the things that would be considered fun.
Thank you, sir.
Did I answer your question? Okay.
Other questions?
Do you have a specific month or date that you're shooting for?
June 8th.
Okay. If there's no other questions, we do have your contact information, so if some come up later on, we can make sure council has your email, phone, they can get to you directly.
All right, good to go. Thank you, guys. Thank you so
Thank you, sir.
much.
Thank you. Public comments, non-agenda item, public comments on the white card, and agenda item, public comments on the yellow card. We don't have any white card items today, just so I'll read the yellow card responses or prompt comments will be taken from the audience on non-agenda and agenda items, combined for a length of time not to exceed 5 minutes total per person on all items except for public hearings. Comments of public hearings must be made when the item comes before council and not to exceed 2 minutes per person. No action or discussion may be taken by the city council during public comments on non-agenda items. To address city council, please complete the card presented to the city secretary or designate prior to the meeting. All right, we're going to start off with Mr. Robert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was hoping to connect with Mr. White. We need about 25, 35, 50 people like Mr. White. He doesn't realize we have, 700,000 in our park fund, and we got 400,000 for community activities. Unfortunately, after 2 years, you guys still have not figured out the process. And in fact, I wrote you guys to design a process for that, and I have not even heard back. That's really, is it discrimination? You're supposed to, in your own book, you say that you'll respond to emails within 3 days, correct? Okay, now just, I sent you guys stuff about the historic district and the definition. I don't think you understand that. I don't think the police department understands it too. This is some stuff I gave to the detectives, and now that I know that the police chief is here, he can pay attention too. This is the Martin McVeigh Cemetery, which is next to the Manor Cemetery. It was began in 1906. This is the Travis County Registry of the Deed that the detectives, they call themselves detectives, but they can't figure out this is a cemetery. This is an example of a black grave site. If you see a bunch of lilies like this, that's a grave site. So what is left to try to figure out? Here's the laws from the Texas Historical Commission. I referenced the laws. So do the detectives not understand how to read this stuff, Ryan? I mean, seriously. I have 3 police reports in, and these people are shining them on. Where is the Manor Police Department? Now, I can't believe, I think you guys were hypnotized by these bond salesmen. What city in their right mind of 18,000 borrows $250 million? Nobody. They hypnotized you. I don't like people to take advantage of children. Now, there's a few things on here that the people should interact on. You have mostly like, private things. The budget committee, you guys could not even do the budget for the first quarter of the fiscal year. I mean, what's with that? I know Lydia Collins left in a hurry, but did she not save the reports and you guys don't know how to run a report? Mr. Allen is here. He's the IT guy. He couldn't run that report for you? I mean, seriously. The park committee, the public tree committee is the same exact report as the park committee. And the park committee, if you look at that, Mr. Ryan, that is a governmental body. You do not get to do a private secret meeting for the park committee. Do you understand that? Denver Collins was not able to understand that. He wanted me to go talk to Travis County. My attitude is, why don't you guys ask the lawyer? Is the lawyers allowed to talk to the police chief? Can they ask her a question, or her or him, whoever? They don't even seem to want to. Capital improvement, 200 million, Jesus. Speaking about Mr. White and stuff, we still don't even have a Parks and Recreation department. What's the holdup with that, man? I mean, come on, what is the holdup? 3 years, you've been on the council for 3 years and you still can't do a Parks and Recreation department. That's hard to believe. But you want to call us a regional leader. Regional leader of what? I know it may seem like all I do is complain. The streets you put in are nice. Where's the sidewalks? Well, there you go, complaining again. I know the comprehensive plan, you guys are unable to even read this. They call missing sidewalk an opportunity for improved walkability. Well, don't we want to have opportunities? Why didn't you put any in? Old Manor's been getting the short shift for like 80 years as Austin, Travis County's been trying to beat Manor down into submission. I think everyone in town has been here more than 10 years has effectively been neutered, spayed, or otherwise snipped. Am I the only person that still has, where is everybody? Where are the people that you're trying to get involved? Is that my time?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. Okay, the other ones are for those agenda items, right? Okay. All right. Move right on to community reports. You have those community reports there. Council members, if you have any questions about them, or if you all want to highlight anything that happened in the report, you can take a moment now to do that. Okay. Public hearings. Number one, conduct a public hearing on the ordinance rezoning the Dominion Development one lot on 15.42 acres or less and being located at 12200 Tower Road, Manor, Texas, from IN-1 light industrial to MF-2 multifamily-25 applicant Dominion. We have a presentation. Is that correct? Come on up, sir.
Thanks, God. Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Council, for having us. So this is our presentation. This is our first City Council meeting for the proposed rezoning of the project we've been discussing with y'all. Some of these slides are carryovers from the Planning and Zoning meeting. We've met a few times, so I'll try to buzz through some of the background information. Dominion's a 50-year-old company. We specialize in workforce housing, which is housing with an income restriction, typically in this case 60% or less of area median income. We're a national company, 220 properties across 19 different states, and we're currently at about 38,000 units, but we're on track to eclipse about 40,000 in the next couple of years. And then just a graphical representation of that. We're a long-term owner, so the properties owned for are properties we currently own, but when we sell a property, the average length of ownership is 18 years. For a new build, it's closer to 20 or 30 years. And then we're also vertically integrated, so we have a property management company that manages all our properties, would manage this one, and then we have a construction architecture department that oversees that as well. We also give back to the communities we're in. So the primary way is through our foundation. We've given over $8 million in the last 3 years. About half of that was through our scholarship program, where we give $5,000 scholarships to different residents. That opens up each semester, and you can apply multiple times. In this development, residents would be eligible for that. But you can also be eligible if you just live in the community too. And then more on the development here. This was a slide we gave to planning and zoning to kind of give them the background and on the origin of some of this stuff. So as you all know, you created the PFC earlier in 2023, the Public Facilities Corporation, and you're looking to promote housing to sort of fixed wage earning people and promote that through a public-private partnership. This is something we're very experienced in, and it's kind of 100% of what we do. And by partnering with y'all, we'll be able to bring housing to people at below market rents and create a lot of benefits through that. This is an updated slide on the milestones. So we met with y'all 4 different times. Just seems like a lot. In September, October, November twice, and then we had an open house in December. We saw a few of you there. We had a turnout of probably about 20 different people to that, half of which were city staff or city officials, and the other half were probably residents. And then we had our planning and zoning meeting last week, and then this is our first city council meeting. This is the location of the property, north of 290 off Tower Road. More on the income and rent restrictions. So the property is 324 units, 2, 3, and 4 bedrooms. Those are the rent and income limits, and they will be in place for 30 years minimum. This is the site plan. The only notable change here since the last time we talked is we realized there needed to be an 80-foot buffer on the eastern property line. There was some questioning about, since that property was in the ETJ, if it was residential or like a more commercial setback would apply. So we moved it from 25 feet to 80 feet. The rest is the same. And it kind of makes it difficult. Like ideally we'd have building, I think it's F8, we'd move it away from the industrial facility, but between the wetland and the pond and the 80-foot setback, we kind of have to get one building up next to it. This is more on the zoning and more of the specifics that we want to talk to. So site zone for industrial use, the comp plan labels this mixed density neighborhoods, of which MF2 is one of the recommended uses. We think it's a good location for a property because it provides a buffer between the industrial and the neighboring subdivision. Preparing for the planning and zoning meeting and also preparing for this meeting, obviously a big point of feedback is going to be traffic. So we ordered a traffic study. We determined that there's some pretty significant congestion on Tower Road, as everyone knows. And the traffic study suggested 3 different improvements. So it suggested we add a turn lane in front of the site and we widen the road in front of the site. So we'll be widening the road. I think it's 8 feet on our right of way and adding a turn lane too. We'll be installing a traffic light at the intersection of FM 973 and Tower Road. And then we'll also be relocating the stop sign from Tower Road to Suncrest. And we have our engineer here with us today and they can speak more to it, but we determined that based on the traffic counts we took and the improvements, it would result in a reduction in the congestion time from 22 minutes to 3 minutes. And a lot of the feedback we got from the Planning Zoning Commission was about the methodology behind how we pulled that all together. So I'll cover it on one of the later slides. And then we're following the city code for fencing, screening, landscaping, and buffering. The whole property, aside from the frontage on Tower Road, will be 6-foot concrete panel, like wood-looking fence. And we'll follow the landscaping requirements too. These are renderings. Still haven't had time to update them. We're still showing the 25-foot setback, but it will be an 80-foot setback next to the eastern property. We'd like to share the updated renderings with you when we have them. I can just click through these. This is a comparison of our property, Crossroad Commons, which is just a couple miles from here. It's in the Austin ETJ. It has a mailer address. And this is the rendering, and this is the actual property. So it'll look pretty similar to the renderings. And then more about the amenities here. We've covered a lot of this in prior presentations, but as a refresher, in unit washer and dryer, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, luxury vinyl plank flooring, and then the community amenities, clubhouse, fitness center, business center. We'll have kind of an outdoor game type area. And one of the big points of feedback we got from you in the open house was you wanted more kind of amenity programming for high school age students in the schools. So we've implemented 2 things to address that feedback. One of which is we're going to have an after school learning center that's going to provide tutoring and homework services at no cost to the residents. That'll be 15 hours a week, Monday through Friday. So 3 hours a day. And we're training emails, but we're looking to partner with the school to get their recommendations on what subjects they would recommend where they see their deficiencies. And then the other thing is some of our outdoor game and kind of grill area. We're going to program some of that towards the things, high school students might be interested in. So like chess or checkers and like a ping pong table is another thing we're going to include. And just more pictures. The key thing to highlight here is we believe everyone deserves a high quality place to live. And these units are the same or better than market rate units. And that's really the key point we like to make on these. More information on the services we provide. This is what we provide at Crossroad Commons, which is, again, the property that's fairly close to here, but it's English as a second language, credit counseling, financial literacy, career coaching, health type resources, food pantry is another one we do. And these are just sort of about the type of resident that lives in our property that kind of makes up the resident base. So these are just example jobs that would fit within the income limits. And this is to illustrate that a two income family with jobs that the school district could fit into. And that was a big part of what we talked to the school district about. They were excited that they would have an opportunity for some of their service workers and even teachers to live in the development. And then this is just some of the benefits of the rent savings we like to highlight. So, these are on an individual level. Average rent length of one of our residents is 4 to 5 years. You extrapolate that out, it becomes enough money to put a down payment on a house. And then over 15 years, we calculate that we would save our residents combined $22.8 million in savings. That ends up being money that's put into the local economy. Increases sales tax, increases property values, brings more commercial opportunities to the city. And this is where we'll kind of get more into the points of feedback we've gotten and how we're addressing them. So we've met with a few different groups kind of ongoing between now. We met with the school district, a couple different churches. We've had kind of some informal conversations with the police, and then just different nonprofits that are in the area. These are the primary points of feedback we received up until the planning and zoning meeting. So traffic, we're adding the center turn lane, we're widening the road on our right of way, we're relocating the stop sign onto Suncrest from Tower Road. And we're also adding the traffic light at the intersection of FM 973 and Tower Road. Flooding is another big one. We were informed that in minor kind of rain type events, just any sort of rainfall, Tower Road can sort of pile up and flood. We looked into it with our engineer. We determined it's because the device that's being used to bring water under the road is an undersized 24-inch pipe. So it gets too full and then it flows over the road. We're going to be installing 4 box culverts that'll allow for basically up to, I think it's 1.5 feet of water to be kept under the road. And statistically, that's a 2-year rain event, which means it has a 50% chance of happening annually. So we'll go from minor rainfall being above the road to pretty significant under the road. And then we heard your feedback on the schools and children and what we're doing there. We're adding the outdoor game area. We're adding the after school learning center, the homework and tutoring services Monday through Friday, 15 hours a week. And we're trading emails with the school about kind of having some sort of agreement with them where we could do things to promote our property. So we'd waive application fees. It's something we've done before. And we'd also, I think to the point of the gentleman who was speaking before me, he mentioned that schools have really good access towards the community and getting the word out about certain things. And we want to do that for our property so we could kind of encourage a sense of community and working class, like good resident living in our property, and benefits everyone. So, and then these are starting to get into the points from the planning and zoning meeting and the feedback that was provided there. So traffic, again, it's a lot of methodology of the traffic analysis that was provided, and kind of different questions about that. So how much traffic will the site generate at the peak hour? I'll describe what that means, but it'll be 100 trips. They were very curious about what time the counts were taken and what was the methodology. We've heard a lot of feedback that it's 7:30 in the morning or around that time the traffic is very, very bad. We take traffic counts in the peak hours, so that's between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. And the improvements we're proposing factor this hour, so like the worst case scenario. So any other time of the day, the idea is they would address that and minimize the congestion on the road. The way this works, and our engineer could speak more to it. I'm not an expert in this, but I understand that it's almost like an industry of its own, where there's different sub-consultants that you hire out, and they put like cameras at the different intersections. So we had them do that. They did it twice, and they did it at 973 in Suncrest and Tower Road, and Tower Road and Boys Arc, I think. All right. All right. You guys can help me with that one. Well, we were at our neighborhood meeting where the gentleman pronounced it totally differently than what I thought it was, so I wanted to make sure I got it right. And then they also had questions about if the TIA contemplated new developments in the area. They mentioned there's 3 new elementary schools that were coming online. What it factors is the status today, basically based on the developments that are in place today. But as we go through the process and we sort of finalize the development documents and the approvals for the site building permit, the city engineer will need to sign off on the TIA, from what I understand. And again, we'll revisit the data and just understand what the data says at that point in time. But the overarching point of the TIA is to say that based on the current conditions plus the traffic we're creating, it's getting better because we're putting in the stoplight and we're doing the other improvements I discussed about. And then the other one was, were buses or pedestrians considered in the analysis? Buses are considered, pedestrians, they're considered too, but we didn't see that there was a significant amount of pedestrians, enough to really move the needle either way. I think the statement is there's virtually no pedestrian traffic in the area. So that was a question they had, because they were wondering with the kind of the charter school across the way, and are there going to be people walking to school? More about the drainage concerns and the questions that were brought up. How will the proposed culvert improve the flooding? By adding kind of more area for the water to pass through the culvert, we'll keep the stormwater under the roadway. So right now it's just like a narrow pipe and it kind of bubbles up, but we're going to have more service area for it to go through. Will the construction of a culvert increase the flooding downstream? No, it'll prevent it from ponding on the road, but it won't increase the flow downstream. And then the other point to make there too that we're kind of asked about is people have this conception that with the detention ponds or with the new development, you have more impervious coverage, so you kind of increase like the flooding issue on the road. But it's a requirement of our development that the storm ponds we create, which we're going to have, I think it's 2 different storm ponds as part of the development, they can't be shown with the engineer to increase the runoff. So the amount of runoff coming downstream is going to be the same or less, and then the system that's used to convey it under the road is going to be significantly improved. They asked about impervious cover, kind of for the same reason. We're going to be within the MF2 zoning requirement for that. And then how will detention be handled? That's the same point. We might create more runoff with our development, but we can't show any increase in the amount of runoff, so the detention ponds are gonna handle that. Additional concerns: have you communicated with the charter school? Gave them a phone call 2 days ago. Got the contact, sent an email, waiting to hear back. Is there an entrance plan to the neighboring subdivision? Ideally, we would have like a fire exit, like an emergency exit. It would just be used by fire. But we would need an easement with the neighboring property owner, not the subdivision HOA, but the industrial person. They kind of own that, so we'd have to negotiate an easement with them. That would just give us a third exit, and kind of it should help the traffic situation a little more in case there's like an emergency or something. what type of security for the site, security cameras, LED lighting. It's going to be downlit. Sometimes people have questions about, are you going to have these really bright lights that are going to disturb all the residents nearby? We downlight it so it points down. On-site management, as we've discussed. And then right now we're not planning for a gate, but we're going to provide kind of the infrastructure and the stub out for a gate. And that if it was requested later down the road, we would consider installing one. And then there was a question about the address being wrong for a presentation. The land's unaddressed. It's just vacant land. Once it gets the plat approved, we would get an update. You would assign us an address, and that would be the address for the property. But we're happy to use the parcel ID for now. So that's the presentation.
All right, thanks,
So,
sir,
happy to answer any
for
questions.
those extra slides. Appreciate that information. Council members, questions?
I just want to say thank you for addressing the issues that I spoke with you about.
Yeah, no problem. We're going to own the property for a long time, so we want to take good care of it too.
Is everyone familiar with the I'm drawing a blank. What's the name of the property over there?
Crossroad Commons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are y'all familiar with that property over there? Have y'all been able to tour it? If you want to see the insides of it, or at least the kind of the quality of it, I definitely recommend kind of scheduling time to do that. If that's something you want to see, you got the images there, but I had a chance to go over there and see the most recent product in this area, and the pictures don't do it justice. So as well as the common areas and stuff. So you're definitely getting a market rate apartment complex at a affordable workforce housing opportunity. So, which was some of the questions that you all had mentioned or desires you had at PLC meetings, was to ensure that Trina, so you can see the upgrades of the insides of the buildings, the countertops, the appliances installed. And so it's really just move in ready.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're happy to tour and any of y'all there whenever you want. That's usually something we suggest when we come to councils. Didn't want to bug you with a bunch of different requests though, so but happy to at any time.
Yeah, just so you can see it. I think it's important, and I appreciate the fact that you all have taken the suggestions of council members and residents in regards to who you've reached out to, in regards to the future residents. I think that piece is important as well. So, questions or comments?
Just again, appreciate you hearing what we have to say and listening and putting it into action.
Of course.
That means a lot.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay. But if there's no questions, I can take a motion to. Oh, come on, Scott. I'm sorry.
Scott.
Evening, Mayor and Council. Just a procedure part. So the Planning Commission, they did recommend or didn't provide a recommendation. They postponed their action because of the questions that Mr. D'Amelio had gone over with y'all. And so you can close the public hearing if you feel satisfied with it. You can keep it open. But when you get to the action item, we would just be recommending postponement to your February 21st meeting, because this is going to come back to the P&Z on the 13th. They have a special meeting on the 13th instead of the 14th. But again, you're out. You can close this public hearing, or you can keep it open and then have it back on your agenda on the 21st.
I'll take a motion.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing on the ordinance rezoning the Dominion Development one lot on 15.42 acres, more or less, and being located at 12200 Tower Road, Manor, Texas, from IN-1 light industrial to MF-2 multifamily -25.
Motion on the floor by Councilwoman Messmer. Is there a second?
Second.
Think
She
got
beat
it.
me. She beat me. Yeah.
Yeah. Second by Councilwoman Weir. Any questions to the motion? Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. All right, moving right along. Conduct a public hearing on ordinance rezoning Maynard Commons Phase 3, one lot, 1.98 acres more or less, and being located at northeast corner of US Highway 290 and FM 973, Maynard, Texas, from agriculture to C1 light commercial. All right, let's see. Who do we have? Ms. Lynn? Is that right? No, that's the wrong one. Oh, that's Ken. Come on up.
Oh, I can use this. It's nice. Okay. So this property is currently going through the annexation process. The annexation is getting timed with the zoning. That's why the annexation is on your agenda tonight. But this property, as part of the Maynard Commons Phase 3 development agreement and 380 tax incentive agreement, it was requested by the city for the property owner to annex it into the city. And with that annexation, we also recommended that they zone it. And that's what you have before you all. They're rezoning it to C1 light commercial, which is consistent with the larger tract, the 33 acre, 32 acres of the larger 33 acre tract.
Okay. Questions, councilman? No question? Or y'all reading? I'll take questions or a motion.
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing for item number 2.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Moreno. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilwoman Messmer. Any questions to the motion? Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, sir. Move right along to the consent agenda. All the items on the consent agenda considered self-explained by council will be enacted one motion. There will be no separate discussion on items unless requested by mayor or council member, in which the event the item will be removed from consent agenda and considered separately. Number 3, consideration, discussion, possible action to approve city council minutes, January 3rd, 2024, city council workshop session, January 3rd, 2024, city council regular meeting, and January 6th, 2024, city council and P&Z joint workshop session. Number 4, consideration, discussion, and possible action on accepting the December 2023 departmental reports. Number 5, consideration, discussion, and possible action on accepting December 2023 city council monthly reports. Any questions or comments on the consent agenda? Anybody want to pull anything out? If not, I'll take a motion.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as read.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Messmer. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilwoman Wallace. Any questions to the motion? Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Regular agenda item number 6, consideration, discussion, possible action on ordinance rezoning the Dominion Development, one lot on 15.42 acres more or less, and being located at 12200 Tower Road, Maynard, Texas, from IN-1 light industrial to MF-2 multifamily. Does council have any questions or clarification for this item? If not, I'll take questions or a motion.
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the first reading of an ordinance rezoning the Dominion Development. That's
Staff's recommendation is approval, but with PNC's postponement, you would just have to postpone to February 21st.
okay, Mayor Council, I make a motion that we,
Question.
Mhm.
Hold on, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Waters, there was a question.
Do we actually have to postpone that?
Before tonight, I would have said no, but our legal has informed me that yes, without a P&Z recommendation, y'all couldn't take action under state statute. She can let you know more if you want.
Yeah, can you please? I'm sorry.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. Veronica Rivera, Assistant City Attorney. On zoning cases, state statute does require, and so does your local government, and state statute under the local government code and the code of ordinances for the city of Manor, that a recommendation is provided by the Planning and Zoning Commission. So because they asked for postponement, you could have the public hearing, but you cannot take any action unless there is a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission. So that's why city staff is requesting postponement on this item until the next meeting in February.
Okay. So we're talking about postponement or no vote and postponement or vote pending with the outcome pending of the zoning?
No, sir, there would not be any vote. It would just be a postponement.
Okay.
Any further questions, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so what is the we're postponing until when?
February 7th,
Okay.
21st. Okay. Mayor Council, I'd like to make a motion that we postpone item number 6 until February 21st, 2024.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace. There a second?
I second.
Second by Councilman Moreno. Any questions to the motion? Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. What was that? 5-2. Yes, 5-2. One in Councilwoman Weir and Mayor Pro Tem Hill. Number 7, first reading, consideration, discussion, and possible action on ordinance rezoning Manor Commons Phase 3, 1 lot, 0.98 acres more or less, being located at northeast corner of US Highway 290 and FM 973 in Texas, from agriculture to C1 light commercial. Any questions or comments regarding that? If not, I'll take a motion.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the first reading of ordinance rezoning Manor Commons Phase 3, 1 lot on 0.98 acres more or less, and being located at the northeast corner of US Highway 290 and FM 973, Manor, Texas, from A agricultural to C-1 light commercial.
Well, motion on the floor by Councilwoman Mesquer. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilman Moreno. Any questions to the motion? Questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Number 8, consideration, discussion, possible action to amend professional service agreement between City of Manor and Grant Development Services. Hey, sir, how you doing?
Evening, sir. Good to see you. It's
to see
good to
you
be
as
in
well.
Manor. Good evening, Council. Those I don't think there's anybody here who doesn't know me. My name is Gandalf Burris. I am sorry that my writing partner, Lucy Hart Cochran, could not be here tonight. We write together, and what we are proposing here tonight, we've been discussing with Mr. Moore, which is the steps we need to take to apply for a $750,000 outdoor recreation grant. The city has completed a master plan that included a chapter on parks and wildlife. That was a very good chapter, and it was a very good plan. However, that is not the kind or the form of a master plan that you have to submit in order to apply for a park. That master plan has to be a plan for one specific park with two alternatives. And what we are going to do this update of the, we're calling it an update of the master plan. It's a revision. It's honing it down and finding it and adding to it so it supports everything that we're going to do. The presentation by, I'm sorry, I didn't get his last name, Derek
White.
I went and talked with him out in the hall, and I can make use of so many of his pictures that he has taken. And I have been in Tenement, by the way, on that night. I didn't come for the marathon, but I went for the, and I stayed for a long time because a fire truck made sure I stayed there. But I had plenty to eat. Anyway, we intend to do this. We intend to get it done and submitted by June 15th. And then we intend to work on a park grant application that this will support, and that will be due in August. We can apply for as many as 3 types of grants. Major outdoor recreation grant is $750,000. Small community grant is $150,000, and it's very good for smaller projects. And then there's a separate grant for walking trails. We will find out through our surveys what the community wants and where they want it. And the important thing about what we are going to do is this is a master plan designed with equity at its very base. Everyone deserves the right to have access to safe recreation. It's not just for some, it's for everyone, and we have to take it to everyone. Where and how, we're going to find out through this. That's my proposal, sir.
Thank you very much. Questions, comments, or motion? Oh, come on in.
Mayor, council members, Veronica Rivera, Assistant City Attorney. The one thing that I would ask is that if you so choose to approve this item, if it can be with approval after legal review. I don't think anyone in our office reviewed it. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that, sir.
She just asked if we could say if we chose to vote for it, that we vote for it pending legal review.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
sir. That's fine with me. Absolutely. You've reviewed 2 of my contracts before, and they all go on the same format.
Questions, comments, or motion?
Mr. Gandalf,
Yes, ma'am.
can we make it, am I correct in saying that the $750,000 grant is a matching grant?
Yes, ma'am.
Just
it
so
is.
everybody knows that the city would have to have
Yes, ma'am.
the
I'm sorry,
match
I did not
to
bring
the
that out.
750,000.
It is a matching grant. It is a dollar for dollar matching grant. Or you can donate land that you own that is not already dedicated as parkland. You may dedicate that land as parkland and use the highest appraised value of that property as part of your match.
Sounds good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Um,
I should have said that. I apologize.
And Mayor Council, whenever we get the feedback from the citizens, we'll come back to the council with those findings, and then we'll be prepared to get direction on pursuing an application with Texas Wildlife and Parks.
Yes, this won't be done in a closet. This will be out in front, and everybody will see what we're doing and have access to it.
Questions, motion?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve and authorize the city manager to execute the amended professional service agreement with Grant Development Services in the amount not to exceed, oh, is that right?
6,500. Yes, ma'am.
not to exceed 2,500, pending legal review.
Motion on the floor by Councilwoman Esquire. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilman Moreno. Any questions to the motion? Comments? Did you have something?
$2,500, plus 2,500 possible maximum hard costs.
Okay.
So is that an amendment that needs to be? To what?
It was 9,000 total.
10,300 total.
Okay. Councilwoman, yes.
Can I just amend the amount? I'd like to make a motion that we amend the amount to 9,003, not to exceed $9,300,
Do we
pending
have-
legal review. Sorry.
Do we have a second for that?
I second.
Second by
Thank you, sir.
Moreno. So we have a motion on the floor with a amended amount. We need to vote on that amendment first, right? Yeah. The second motion. The second motion changed the amount. So vote on that and then vote on the main one with the amended amount. So all in favor for the amended for the motion with the amended amount raise your hand. Opposed? Motion passes. All in favor for the original motion on the floor for the approval with the amended amount of 9,300, I'm sorry. And authorize the city manager to sign and pending legal review. All of four against. Which one are you? 4? Okay, passes. Universe passes. Thanks, sir.
I've never seen hands come up so many times on one of my proposals. I'm kind of overwhelmed.
Yeah. Oh, we got another one. So consideration, discussion, possible action on a resolution authorizing professional service agreement with City of Manor and Grant Development Services to submit an application to the Economic Development Administration, EDA, Public Works Program for a $1.5 million economic adjustment grant.
Thank you, sir. This is a proposal to go to EDA for a $1.5 million grant for the Cottonwood Sewer to add 2 treatment trains and to expand a great deal of land around where I don't know the name of the company, it's the battery company. Hans? Yes, sir. Is going to be the primary beneficiary, but there is going to be enormous space and sewage for support businesses, suppliers, transporters to come in. This looks to be a tremendous win for the city, but they need that facility. The Hans company needs that sewage guaranteed before they can come. So this is a application to EDA for $1.5 million.
Any questions, comments, council?
Is this one a matching one as well?
This one has a match. Generally, it's 20 to 30%. EDA makes a decision on each application and the distress of the community, and that is done in negotiation when you submit, but we know it will be at least 20.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I would say, Mayor and Council, on this item, back in 2022, when we decided to do the tax note, we included funds to pay 100% of this for this improvement at the treatment plant. But when we brought on Mr. Gandolf, we were close to closing at the end of 22, but since we didn't own the land at the time, with everything being recorded, we pushed it back. And so this is why we're coming back to you again. Now we can submit an application to make sure we can go ahead and utilize his services for that.
Questions, comments? Questions, comments, or a motion?
Mayor and Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 2024-01 and authorize the city manager to execute the services in an amount not to exceed. Now this one says 500. That's correct.
It's 10,300. $9,500 is the professional fee. $800 is the possible hard cost. $10,300 is the maximum fee.
I'd like to amend that amount to 10,003,
Yes, ma'am. 10,300.
$10,300, not to exceed.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor with the amount of 10,300. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilmember Moreno. Any questions to the motion? Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 6-1.
Mayor and council, may I say one thing?
Yes, sir.
Lucy and I are proud to work for Maynard. We are looking forward to this. We want to grow with you.
Well, thank you so much, and tell Lucy we said hello. Councilwoman Hill. All right. Number 10, consideration, discussion, and possible action on professional consulting services agreement for solid waste services for the city of Maynard. Mr. Moore.
Mayor, Council, give some context. We're at the point of looking at our solid waste contract. It was entered into 2019. We had a window of in 2022 that we didn't get everything in order, and so that required us to go through 2 years of service with Waste Connections, and we didn't want to miss a window this year in order for us to go out to solicit bids for the contract. We reached out to Solid Waste Services to assist us with going through that process and not want to rely too much on staff, but we want to definitely have somebody with experience to help us ask questions and services we would like to see added. We want to make sure we developed an RFP based on the schedule that's been prepared to help us go navigate this process. I think the last time we had our solid waste contract, some items got omitted, which I think the franchise fee. So we want to make sure we have no omissions and get a new contract in place. And if you have any questions, we have Mr. Lynn Lathrop here to answer questions for you.
I'll have to raise this up. Honorable Mayor and Council, I'm Lynn Lathrop, and I'm part of a team of two. My partner is the tax assessor collector for Ellis County, but he was a long-term mayor in DeSoto, Texas. I was a 40-year career man with waste management, serving the entire South, 14 states, for government contracts. Retired, lasted a week, and figured I could do more with my life than that. And God has been very gracious to us. If y'all hire us, you will be our 22nd city in the past 4.5 years. We have a great track record of unanimous votes. When we bring a recommendation to you, it will have been vetted, not just by us. Our role is to, if you hire us, get with the city manager and have what we call a kickoff meeting, where I just take notes. I just start hearing what you want to do. And I will draft a preliminary document. And generally, if it's in the wishes of the council, if you have a work session, I can come back before you and go through those points. And that's where you say, no, we want to tailor that a little differently. We go to market, and then during that time, I'll ask the city manager to gather out of y'all and the staff a series of judges, usually 3 to 5 people. So it's a grassroots judging of these books when they come in. Not to scare those that may judge, but the books are about 100 pages that come in. And they're not focused just on a price. They're focused on the vendor's ability to demonstrate to you that they know what they're doing, that they've been in business long enough to service a town that's grown like this town has, and focus on safety. As I was talking to the police chief earlier, we have a couple of pieces in our document that require, there's a federal register of safety numbers that they have to pass that muster. So it may never say they have a cheap price. If they can't run safely in your streets, you don't want to do business with them. Just kind of giving you an overview. This is going to be a hot football game. There's quite a few customers or vendors, excuse me, that are interested in participating in Maynard's future. So that just tells you a little bit about Richard and I. We've been blessed. Like I say, we do the same thing with each city. Only thing that's different is what y'all's input will be after I get you a base to work from. Then you can nitpick it to pieces. We'll get it exactly the way you want it before it goes out. One thing we do differently than others in this world is when the RFP goes out, the contract, which will already have been vetted by your attorney, goes with it, and they match. And so so we won't have any dilly-dally. The way I explain that is unless y'all, as a council, want to consider more than one service level, and you may, I'm doing Tomball right now, and I had a draft, and it was what the city manager and his staff wanted to see, but I came and ran it by their council, and they want a few changes. So if you put a menu in there, nothing's going to be determined till the night y'all cast a vote. If you just have one service level, and we do it right, literally, after you vote, the mayor can sign the contract. So that's how fast this goes. The goal is to give the vendors at least about 30 days, because 100 pages is a lot of writing. We like to give them about 30 days to get it right. And then we like to give them about 6 months, if possible, before this December start, because though COVID is gone and all that sort of thing, there's still a delay in getting equipment. And so we want to give them as much time as possible, but still get you a great finished product. So with that, I'll clam up and see if you have any questions for me.
Council.
And this one has franchise fees?
If to whatever level you like, you can put them on any piece. There'll be 3 service lines: the houses, the dumpsters, and then the larger roll-off or construction type container. You can levy those franchise fee, and I suggest that you do. It's somewhat the same way as we will obviously be charging you a fee. It's in the contract there, but the winner will be repaying the city. Now, they're simply going to spread that cost over what should be 10 years, even if it's a 5-year with a 5-year renewal. Those costs are going to be, spread out. Sort of like that gentleman, Mr. White, that was up here. He was talking about something kind of things where y'all won't help. It could be a beautification piece. It could be what he was doing. Anything you want, the garbage companies are quite used to this. And you can pile it on. You can say, we want the franchise fee. We also want this money set aside. We want these special things done. We want to line all that up. So in fairness to the garbage company, they're not unprepared for, they got to put it under price. But when you take, this is a big place now. And when you spread all of this out over a long period of time, they can absorb a lot. So that's where I guess I'd leave it with y'all tonight and be kind of thinking about that, what that gentleman said. There's probably some other things that y'all may need. It's 5 here and 10 there, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to be the author of what you tell me to do. Okay.
Other questions?
I do see the hourly rate for additional activity would be $200 per hour plus.
Oh, you're talking about the accumulated? Okay, so what it is, I spent 25 years of board service with Keep Texas Beautiful. That's where I met my wife. We were both presidents of that board at one time. And I firmly believe what Keep America Beautiful says, what Keep Texas Beautiful says, and that is Don't leave your residents guessing about any aspect of getting rid of garbage or brush or what I call the surprise mother-in-law visit at the weekend when the trash was picked up on Wednesday. You have to have a way out for that home. So the unusual accumulation, they will have to turn a number in. We have no idea what that number will be. And it will be by time, and it'll be by volume. But we want the residents to understand there's a method for everything that can happen at that house without calling you guys. Does that make sense? Okay. We thought it all through.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Other questions, comments?
And I would say also is that allowing us to be able to have, the experience and the knowledge to help will allow us to not have a process and feel jointed, when it comes down to the actual reviewing of proposals, because this is one contract that we don't see every year, and you want to make sure, like you said, out of fairness to all the vendors, that we're growing, but we also want to make sure we grow and have a service that our customers are not going to feel like we're taking steps back. We definitely want to take steps forward, and anything that we do going forward, you need experience like this to help. And we don't want to, put staff or anyone in that position to try to manage this part of the process, because it's a process that we don't want to have a repeat like we did in 2019.
Questions or motion?
Mayor Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve professional consultation service agreement for the solid waste services for the city of Manor in an amount not to exceed $39,940.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilmember Rainer. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Emily Hill. Any questions to the motion? Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you
sir.
very much for your business. I'll serve you well.
Thank you. All right, moving right along, number 11. Consideration, discussion, possible action on resolution authorizing the purchase of and closing of 0.308 acres more or less of real property located in Travis County, approval of the unimproved property contract. Mr. Moore.
Mayor Council, this parcel is for the public to know, it's off of West Parsons. We have an existing transmission line from the sewer line going from the Lions Club over toward Cary Manor up in Fisher Park. And in the discovery of our easements or lack of an easement in that area, it came to our attention that we didn't have any record of this particular tract of ground that had two manholes that we'd have to service over time. And the owner recently had put it up for sale, and we wanted to make sure we protected the ability for Public Works to get in and out. And we've seen there's some issues with the existing manhole near the creek that needs some attention, and we feel that acquiring this easement would be very beneficial for the city to acquire, and that's why we have the item before you for your approval.
All right, questions or motion?
Mayor Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 2024-2, authorizing the purchase and closing of 0.308 acres, more or less, of real property located in Travis County, Texas. Approval of the unimproved property contract, and authorize the city manager to execute the contract and related documents for the purchase and closing of 0.308 acres.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Ware. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilwoman Wallace. Any questions to the motion? Any questions to the motion? No questions. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Move right on, number 12, consideration discussion possible action on the possession and use agreement with David Price for wastewater easement with the temporary construction easement. Mr. Moore.
Mayor Council, our land appraiser and our right-of-way acquisition agent. We've been working with this particular tract ground dating back to June, and we realized that this is the last tract that we need to acquire. So the GBA engineers can go ahead and complete their project plans for the sewer to go to the Manor Commercial Park. We've got about 3.3 million through the CARES Act to do infrastructure, and the council decided that with installing sewer to the commercial park. And in the process, we went through step by step, talking to each property owner to acquire their right of way, their easement. And this is this is just one more parcel that we needed because on the December 6th meeting, we had 4 tracts that we acquired. So again, we're doing everything we can for acquiring the property so the engineers can complete their plans, and then we'll be ready to go out for bid hopefully this spring.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, council members, Veronica Rivera, Assistant City Attorney. If you so choose to make a motion, the document has a signature for the city manager to sign. So if you could authorize the city manager to sign that document, that contract.
We have a motion on the floor? Or questions?
Mayor Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the possession and use agreement with David Price for a wastewater easement with the temporary construction easement in an amount not to exceed $44,474 and authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Moreno. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilwoman Wallace. Any questions to the motion? Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Consideration, discussion, possible action on purchase agreement with SHFC Manor Land LLC for water easement and with a temporary construction easement for parcel number 2.
Mayor Council, this item is related to the FM 973 water line at 290. Again, I think we're down to maybe 2 parcels left, and then I think we've acquired all of the easements for that project to get final completion, and then we can go out for bid on that. And then working with the right-of-way agent, we discovered that there was a $10,000 savings on this particular parcel. So instead of paying the $12,000, we'll be only paying $2,300 for the easement from this property owner.
Okay. I take a motion or a question.
Mayor Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the purchase agreement with SHFC Manor Land LLC for a water easement with the temporary construction easement in an amount not to exceed $2,323.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Moreno. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Weir. Any questions to the motion? Any question to the motion? Being none, all in. Do you have a question? Oh, you was ready now. Go ahead.
Do we have to give the city manager? No.
Good question. Thanks for that clarification. Being no questions, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. City Council will now convene to executive session pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 551, Texas Government Code, in accordance with the authority contained in Section 551.071, Section 551.072, Texas Government Code, and Section 1.05, Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct with legal counsel to deliberate the purchase of real property. City Council will now reconvene to open session. Pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 551 Texas Government Code, take action, if any, on items discussed during closed executive session. There are no items to discuss. This meeting is adjourned at 8:54 p.m.